Okay, so here's a topic that maybe those of us in Pennsylvania might want to fucking take notice to. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court today ruled that probable cause is the only reason to search a vehicle, whereas Pennsylvania used to enjoy an extra layer of protection. Yes, an extra layer of protection. The justices of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said, and I quote, that the... Oh, man. I don't know, it's always when I start recording that my fucking stomach goes... But, anyway, here, let me pour a beer here real quick. Anyway, in the same day that the federal, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that only one person in the household needs to give permission for a warrantless search, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that the provision that's been in the Pennsylvania Constitution since fucking the Pennsylvania Constitution was written no longer applies. So in case you don't know, the Pennsylvania Constitution states that in order to search somebody, you need, number one, probable cause, and number two, something else, a reasonable expectation or reasonable suspicion or fucking something else. And that's what the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania just the other day got rid of. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because Pennsylvania was one of the last states to require two forms of reasonable suspicion or probable cause. Two forms of probable cause, and you still had to bring it before a judge to search what you wanted to search. Pennsylvania was one of the strictest states in that regard. You had to have probable cause and reasonable suspicion, something, and you had to get a judge to sign off on both of that shit. But now that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court has shot down the second provision of that, and Pennsylvania is now... Oh, we are now progressive. Now, we are within the federal mandate of the law. And probable cause is all a police officer may need to search your vehicle. In unrelated news, the Supreme Court yesterday has ruled that consent to search one's home, if granted by one person in the household, is binding, no matter the objections to the other people of the household, no matter what circumstances. So, what does this mean? What does this mean? The case that this originated from, by the way, was some guy, blah blah blah, some guy and some wife, and his wife, blah blah blah. They were somebody called 911, and as they were in the process of arresting him, he forbade them to go into his house. The police. However, the wife allowed them to come into the home. So the question arose. Excuse me. The question arose: what constitutes a constitutional search? Dude took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and yesterday they ruled, hey, guess what? You own the home. You're getting arrested. Yeah, you have no rights. Hey. Hey, guess what? We're gonna go ahead and arrest all of you inside the house. Oh, you have a friend of yours? He's asleep on the couch. Oh, we're gonna ask him. Hey, buddy. Hey, you mind if we search this home? Oh, no problem. No problem, sir. That's an extreme example, but fucking shit, man. The Supreme Court, the federal Supreme Court, shut down or just struck down most of the Fourth Amendment, and then the Pennsylvania Supreme Court struck down most of the Fourth Amendment in your goddamn motor vehicle the other day. So Pennsylvania used to be one of the most stringent states. If you pulled somebody over, if you were a cop and you pulled somebody over, you had to, if you wanted to search their their car, it either had to be in plain view or there had to be really existential probable cause, like somebody was about to die kind of shit. Otherwise, they always had to get a warrant, and that's the right thing, man. But it strikes me as odd that both courts, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court and the federal Supreme Court, both struck down provisions of a Fourth Amendment type situation in the same day. And like I said earlier, man, I have been agreeing with Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court for a long time now, and it's making me question my own freaking sanity. Because if Ruth Bader Ginsburg is the only sane one on the Supreme Court, then who are our enemies? I mean, like, who be for us? Ruth Bader Ginsburg has always been the loony bird, right? No, now the loony bird is Antonin Scalia and fucking Roberts. Have you noticed that they always follow Antonin Scalia now? Every freaking opinion from the Supreme Court that I've seen written in the past couple of weeks has been from Antonin Scalia. Not Chief Justice John Roberts. Antonin Scalia has been the majority writer. What is going on in the Supreme Court? And what is going on in courts around the country? A lot of bullshit. A lot of bullshit. I'll tell you that. But, yeah. I'm pretty much done. Yeah. I'll leave you with a burp. Nah, I'll leave you with a burp.